Hello, my name is Sam, and I just wanted to share a chair practice with you all. I do apologize, I've got a creaky desk chair. Typically, which it will work, just typically a metal folding chair of some sort is typically the chair that's most commonly used in these classes. You just want a nice sturdy chair to use, nothing with wheels or anything of that sort. And then the mat, what you can do is sit your chair on the mat, and you can leave a little bit of mat up front. Now with scooting clear back into the chair, you notice you are sliding and are just having trouble staying put in the chair, you can leave a little bit of excess mat behind you, and you can, the silver chairs are wider, but you can pull it up through and sit on the mat. That'll help stop you from slipping. But sitting on a pillow or something seems like a good idea, but you'll slide around a good bit and not really have a firm, stable seat, if I can put it that way. Also, as far as sitting, when you're sitting in your chair, you would like to put your sits bones down and actually sit back into the chair and then stay. So here, the tailbone is in a nice neutral spot. If you notice yourself kind of slouching and slouching forward, your tailbone's kind of tucked. So if you notice yourself doing that, just scoot up a little bit and then sit back into your seat first, and then you're sitting nice and upright. So sometimes, like for me, to sit clear back into this chair, just the tips of my toes touch the floor. But we would like for the whole foot to touch the floor. So if you want to sit clear back in your chair and you've got some books or some yoga blocks, you could put those down for your feet while we're just sitting here, and that's perfectly fine. This is a nice, comfortable seat. Once we start moving just a little bit, you may need to scoot forward into your chair a little more. If you don't have blocks, but you have some sort of a blanket or a cushion, a couch cushion or something, you can certainly always roll that up and sit it under the feet as well. So you can really kind of make it work. So just a few things that would be helpful to have on hand for the practice would be some blocks or books, a blanket of some sort, or a cushion. And then if anybody has a yoga strap, you can use it. There's only one thing that will use it for. You don't even have to have it for that pose. But if you don't have a strap, you can certainly use like a towel. It might not be quite long enough, a dish towel actually, but a belt, a tie may work. Or like I said, you just don't have to have it. It's not something that's necessary. It's just a suggestion. So you can go ahead and make yourself comfortable in your seat. So like I said too, if you don't have blocks or something, just scooting more to the edge of your seat here, just with a nice posture. And the feet flat on the mat. And you can put your hands just on either thigh. You could rest one hand in the other. Just wanting to kind of relax and settle in here for a moment. If you're doing this practice in the morning, maybe you just begin to think about things, an attitude, a mindset that you would like to take into the day and have throughout the day as you move forward. An intention, if you've got a mantra or a prayer or something of that sort that you would like to repeat to yourself, then, do it. You can set that intention and that goal for yourself. If you're doing this in the middle of the day or late in the day, maybe you just reflect on how the day has gone. Just recalling the events, but try not to get attached to anything, which can be very tricky. And then just begin to notice your breath. You don't have to change it just yet or make it behave any differently. Just noticing it, just watching it. You can stay here, just noticing your breath for as long as you like. But if you feel ready to move a little bit, we certainly can do that. So you can start just placing your hands just on your knees. And then just a little move called CatCow. So for a cat pose, I'll turn to the side just so you can all, watch those blocks, just so you can all see this movement. We call it CatCow, but we start in cow typically. So for cow, you'll let the belly kind of come forward out away from you, and then you can just bring the shoulders back. You can leave the head just here. You can let it drop back if it feels good to you. And then on the next half of your breath, so you can inhale, open to this cat or cow, and then you can exhale and round your spine to this cat. If you think of like a scared, frightened cat, they arch their back. And you can bring the chin toward the chest if that feels good. Now, if you have osteoporosis, please don't go to the cat pose here. Just cow, back to neutral. Cow, back to neutral. Not saying it will necessarily happen, but with osteoporosis, and especially, it's in life, but in yoga there's a lot of forward folding, and that is one of the more vulnerable movements for someone with osteoporosis for your spine. You could be more prone to fractures and things like that with forward folding. So I'll just ask that you refrain if you know that you have osteoporosis from doing that forward rounding. But otherwise, you can inhale at your own pace and your own breath to that cow. Exhale back to neutral if you have osteoporosis, or to cat. So just moving through. And just allowing your breath to guide your movement here. This movement can be as slow or as fast as you like. Then maybe after your next cat, or if you are just cow to neutral, when you come back to neutral, just stay there. And What we'll do next is just a little bit of side or lateral bending. So you can put your hand on the side of your chair if you like, or you can just rest it here. You don't have to. You can keep your hand on your thigh as well. And then you can inhale that right arm up. You can just tilt over as far as feels comfortable for you. Just noticing a nice opening, a lengthening up from that right hip, clear up to the right arm. And you can look up at that hand if you like. You can look down to the floor. You can look just out ahead. And then you can exhale and come back up. Let that right arm come down. Then you can inhale the left arm out. Back up to neutral. You can inhale the right arm up. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale back to neutral. We'll do one more time on each side. Inhale up. Exhale back to neutral. And then inhale left arm up. Exhale back to neutral. All right, so now what we'll do is just a little gentle twist to each side. So you can kind of shift your hips over to the left side of your chair, and then you can reach back here if you'd like. You can put your hand up on the top of the chair. You can put your right hand there, and then you can either keep your left hand on your lap. You can bring it down to the chair, but twist from the bottom of your spine up. So from your tailbone clear up, your head and your neck should be the last things to turn around. And this is just a gentle twist to start. You don't have to like use momentum and kind of like crank your body back. And remembering to breathe here. Sometimes it can be very uncomfortable to breathe in a twist. And come back to center. And then we'll shift the hips over to the right. And left hand comes to the back of the chair, right hand wherever you'd like. And then just gently twisting base of the spine and coming around. Your next breath, you can lift up and come back around. So we'll just do some gentle head and neck movements here. If you know that you've got some sort of issue with your neck and a movement that I suggest doesn't feel comfortable, please don't do it. If you even just sit, you can kind of settle in more. Notice just how those movements started to feel. Please don't ever do anything that you know does not feel good for your body. I'm just a suggestion giver. That's what I do. And your practice should be safe and beneficial to you. Each pose should feel good for you. You shouldn't feel like you're straining or, trying to force yourself into anything. So here you can just start by chin coming into the chest. And maybe a prolonged stretch here will feel good and maybe not. So with an exhale, maybe chin to chest if you need shorter, and then you can inhale back up to neutral, or you can drop the head back slightly. And then exhale, chin to chest. So as long or as quick, rather, as you need to be in this movement, just do that. And you can stay with this movement if it feels good to you. You can also come back to neutral and maybe just head turns to the right. You can come back to center and then head to the left. Come back to center. You could even drop right ear to the right shoulder, come up, left ear to the left shoulder. And then just noticing if chin comes toward the chest a little more, you might notice a different stretch rather than the chin being tilted upwards slightly. And you can even do this one just with little half neck rolls rather than just turning side to side. And then once again, you can always stay here if these movements feel good to you. You can always come back to them. If we start doing something eventually that doesn't work for your body, then that's fine. You can always come back to these moves. But we'll just do some shoulder rolls here just to kind of loosen everything up. So once again, you can keep the hands resting on the thighs. You can let them kind of gently rest on the edge of the chair, or they can just kind of hang. And then you can roll the shoulders up and around. Once again, only doing so if it's safe and feels good to you. And then maybe you can roll in the other way if it feels good. And then if you'd like, you can inhale your shoulders up to your ears. And exhale, let them drop. And you can sigh out as you let them drop if you'd like. A few more times. All right, so you can take your right arm to your left shoulder if you like, and then you'll kind of have to stick it out a little bit, and don't anchor so much, because otherwise you're not really going to be able to move. So just kind of resting the hand just up in that shoulder region, and then just elbow rolling if you think about making like little elbow circles. You can go the other direction. And you can let that hand, the right hand, come down, and you can bring the left hand across. Roll the other way. Remember, only doing these things if they feel good to you. And these circles can be as large or as small as you like, as quick or as slow as you need them to be. You can take a whole inhale to make a circle, and then an exhale to make the other. Or you could, switch the parts up with a breath, just however you need to feel comfortable. So then you can bring the hands, just kind of rest them on your chest in a neutral position. And you can inhale, the arms will push out away from you. You can spread the fingers nice and wide. And then exhale, bring them back in and curl the fists. And you can inhale out, open those fingers nice and wide. Exhale, coming back in. And you can inhale out. Exhale, back in. Inhale out. Exhale, back in. So maybe you're, or maybe we should rather exhale out and inhale back in. But maybe when you come out, you're just pushing things away, getting rid of things you don't need. And then as you exhale and come back in, you're grabbing and bringing with you things that you do like, that you would need in your life. Exhaling sadness, anger, stress. Inhaling and bringing in happiness, joy, relaxation, peace. It doesn't have to be a bunch of things. But, you get the idea. All right, and those are back in. So then what we'll do is the hands can come just down to the thighs here. And actually, so we'll bring right hand to the left thigh. So what you're going to do is make this diagonal motion, just keeping your arms straight. You'll kind of twist and then lift the arm that way overhead. But what I would like for you to do is to follow this right hand as it lifts. So with your gaze, just watch that hand inhaling, coming open. And then you don't have to go back super far. You can just come up here, that's fine. And then exhale, watch it come back to where it started. You can inhale, open. Exhale, back to where you started. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, back to where you started. Inhaling, opening. Exhale, coming back to where you started. We'll do two more. So inhale, open. Exhale, close. We'll inhale, open. And then exhale, back to starting. So now you can bring the left hand to the right knee. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Two more. Inhale, open. Exhale, back down. Inhale, open. And exhale, back down. All right, so we'll kind of head down and do some things with our feet and ankles. So if what you've got your feet on now doesn't feel sturdy, like if you've got them on a bolster or a blanket, it should feel pretty okay. But if for some reason it doesn't, just scoot your hips forward so that your feet can touch the ground. So what we'll do is we'll inhale, and you can straighten the ankles up, and then you can exhale, coming up onto the balls of the feet, rather. A nice little toe stretch too. And then you can exhale, the feet come back flat on your mat, on a blanket, on your blocks, whatever. So you can inhale up on the tiptoes. Exhale, coming back down. Inhale up on the tiptoes. Exhale back down. Inhale up on the tiptoes. Exhale back down. You can inhale up. Exhale back down. Inhale back up. Exhale back down. Inhale back up. Exhale back down. You can keep doing this if you'd like. You could also, where you're just kind of turn your feet out, maybe you notice a little bit of a stretch. You could also try to come up on the toes while the feet are pointed out. You could also turn the feet in a little bit. That's a nice stretch for the outside of the feet here, and just kind of the outside of that ankle, just kind of a stretch that you don't really take a lot. You don't have to try to come up on your toes here. That can be a little tricky, but that just might be another nice way to stretch. And then you could just lift your right leg up a little bit, and then just take some ankle rolls, just in one direction. And then you can go the other direction. Then you can put your right foot back down. Then you can lift that left foot up a little bit, and then just do some ankle rolls with that foot. And then you can go the other direction. And then you can put that foot back down. So now what we'll do, you can rest your hands on your thighs still, or you can let them hang. But we will just inhale and straighten the right leg. So just bending from the knee, lift up, and then exhale back down. Straighten the knee, and then back down. And you can alternate if doing the same knee for a while just doesn't feel good or it gets kind of tired. All right, you can do the other leg if you aren't alternating already. And playing around here, when you inhale and straighten that leg, if you've got the left foot flexed, if you've got it straight, you'll just notice some different sensations. Nothing's right or wrong, but you'll just notice little different sensations. One more. All right, and now what we'll do is we'll lift, we'll straighten that right leg just through the knee again, and then we'll lift the left arm up. So you can inhale. And as far as you can lift this arm up is fine. And you could also take even like a cactus arm kind of approach of it. So you could inhale and just kind of come out to here, that's fine. And then exhaling, coming back down. Or you can inhale and come out to here, that's fine. And exhale back down. Or can come up just as far as you can. Maybe it's here. That's great. Maybe it's all the way up. Who knows? And it may change, day by day. All right, we can switch sides here. Remember, you can cactus. Alrighty, so we're gonna try a few poses here where you'll move a little bit and you may need some props for. So if you've been sitting with your feet up on blocks, it's probably, you'll probably have to take them down and just move them to the side. And then this first pose here will be the one, and we'll do it on each side. But if you've got the strap and you're interested, this would be the pose that we will do it with. So we're going to come to just a warrior two here. So what you'll do, we'll put your, you can come to sit on the front of your chair with your sits bones. Those, you can feel them when you're sitting on them. Just your bones there underneath your bottom. But you'll come and you can take your right foot, you'll kind of pivot and shift to the right, and this right foot will face over to the right wall, just straight ahead of that. Then this left foot, you can kind of take it off at a diagonal, and it will face, the toes will face the wall straight in front of you. You may already feel a nice little hip stretch. So what you'll do here is you can bring your arms up. They may come up and out just nicely here. And you can look out over your right fingertips here. Where does the strap come in? Well, it's funny you ask. So you can either hook it through if you want, but you can also just wrap it around your hand here. And then you can let it rest just right over your neck here. And you can just kind of hold on to that. And it may just give you a little more strength or stability here to keep your arms up. So looking out, nice and strong. Feeling a nice little stretch through the inside of this left leg here. And I'm up pretty close to the edge of my seat here. In a standard metal chair, I believe it might not be quite as wide, so I think you'd be able to, you may not have to scoot up as much, is what I'm saying. And then if anybody, you don't have to stay seated for this the whole time. So another way you could try to do this, some people just need a little bit of extra stability over the front of this leg. So what you could do is put the right leg over the chair. The right toes are still facing toward the front, and then the back leg just comes behind the chair. So you're kind of stepping over the chair. My left toes are pointed out toward the camera. And then strap or no strap, arms come out. You're in a warrior two. There are so many variations for chair. It really is such a great tool. You can also put your chair up against the wall, and you could stand, once again, the right toes would point toward my back wall here now, and then you can just kind of put the knee in to the front of the chair, and then your left foot, those toes are going to now point toward the wall if you were to look straight ahead in front of you out to out to the front of your face here. And then you can put your arms out and look to the wall. So there are a lot of ways to use your chair here. You don't have to just sit, or you can just sit in your chair. Plenty of options here. And make, for you to make the most out of your practice and to make it work for you. So that is your warrior 2. So we'll do a lunge here. And I've got options for you. So if you're still seated in your chair, what you're going to do, you're going to keep your right foot, how we put it, for your warrior 2. Get rid of this strap. And then what you can do, you can take a blanket or a cushion or 2 cushions if you need, and you can just drop it down here right in front of your chair. And then what you'll do is you'll turn and you can let this left knee come onto this cushion. I've got my right hip sitting on my chair, and then my left hip is off, and my left knee is on this cushion. You can curl the back toes here, and maybe kind of focus on really turning those hips forward. You'll notice a nice stretch in the front. You can keep the hands at heart center. You can keep a hand on the back of the chair, and you can bring one arm up overhead, or you can bring both arms up overhead. It also can be helpful for some people to have a block in their hands, just to help them. You can push in the hands kind of toward each other while holding onto this block, just to kind of give yourself a little more resistance and something to hold on to. Now, not having the bolster here, that would make your hips pretty off kilter. Would be pretty rough to try to keep one hip on and one down to the mat with nothing. However, you can do a bit of a higher lunge here. Have the right hip on the chair, the back hip on nothing, and you can come up. So with the knee supported, more of a low lunge, and you can do a higher lunge with that hip up. And then you could also try to push up just a little bit. And then as I showed you with your warrior 2, you could push the chair to the wall and then put that right knee up against the chair, and then you can keep the knee up. And this is a great modification, the bolster, for any class. You can easily just drop that knee down, you're lunging, you're here, and then you can come back. They also sell some really great yoga knee pads. That may be something you want to look into. I don't know. So that was our lunge. And we're going to do a triangle pose. I'll show you a few little variations of that here. So you can scoot your hips up to the front of your chair. Just make sure you feel those sits bones nice and grounded. And then you can put a block or 2 blocks, 2 books, a block or a book on a pillow, whatever. Just something out to the right here. And then what you'll do, right hand can come to that block, and then you can inhale the arm up, and you can look up to that left hand if you like, or you can look back down. So feeling a nice stretch and space between that left hip, nice muscle right here you're stretching. That arm can come up. If you want to get technical about the feet, you can. So once again, you can bring your right leg out to the side. You'll kind of set up for that warrior 2 again. And then you can lean over. You may not notice quite as much of a stretch because this front leg is bent. In your typical triangle, the front leg is straight. So you can do this as well. If you're feeling frisky, you can stand up and then have your hand, the block can go in front or behind. And then here is another really nice variation for this. I feel like I'm up too far now that I move in my chair. So here's another nice variation. You can scoot back so your back is closer to the wall if you like, but you would put your right knee, you would keep the chair like this, but you would just feel the wall at your back. Knee to the chair. You can put your hand on the chair, and you can even straighten that foot if you like. So your weight is kind of in the seat of that chair. And then you can look up if you like, you can look down. And having the wall behind you will just help to make sure that you're not twisted over too much. If you feel yourself twisting over too much, you're down too low. So prop up, and then you may be able to get that nice extension that you're looking for. And once again, you can stay in any of these poses as long as you like. Pause me if you need more time, but we'll just keep moving here. So then a warrior one. So this one can be kind of tricky in a chair. So once again, we'll do the right leg out to the right side. So where we did our warrior two as our left toes pointed out to the wall that was straight ahead of us, in your warrior one, you'll kind of take it to the corner of the room. So your back foot, and it may need to come out kind of to the front of you, and then point those toes a little bit. And then once again, we're sitting kind of up on the edge of the chair, and you can bring the arms up if you like. You could also stand for this pose. And you could stand with your knee pointed in to the mat. An example that I found in a book of how to do a warrior one in chair, like for a chair yoga class, it basically looked like a lunge to me. So I'll do a little more work on that. And that's just another, if you want to try it. But I think you will get the nicest stretch and benefit out of the warrior two, the lunge, and the triangle. So we'll go ahead and we'll do those poses on the other side. So you can get that strap if you want it. You don't have to have it. But we'll take the left foot out to the left. The left toes will point to the wall straight ahead. And then you can bring that right foot out. Those toes will point to the wall that would be to our right. And then, like I said here, you can keep the arms up here. I look like really twisted. I think just it's the angle my camera is at. And then you can have that strap here. You could stand up if you like. And you can take rests. You can be here, the arms can come down, the arms can come back up, the arms can come down. Or you can move through all of these poses just a little quicker if you like, and kind of do them a few times over. So we'll go to that lunge. So you can bring your bolster or your blanket, and you can bring that right knee to that support, whichever support you like. And you can inhale the arms up. You can let those hands come down if you like. You can stay here, once again, for as long as you like. But we'll move to that triangle pose. So once again, here you've got options. You can bring block out to the left. And then you can lean over, left hand comes to the block. You can look up. You can also kind of come to that warrior two positioning here. See what you think. Or the knee doesn't have to come right up against the chair. You can just, left leg will be straight, the left toes will point to the wall to the left of you. The right toes will point straight ahead. Then you can bring that arm up. Once again, you can look up, you can look out, you can look down. Nice stretch there. So you can try that warrior one again if you want, but it's also not something you have to do. Just one more little kind of strengthening move that we'll do here before we cool down is we'll try a chair pose in our chair. So what you'll do, the feet, you won't want to put anything down below your feet on this one, but you can have them flat on the mat, and then you can keep your hands are heart center. You can lift them up overhead if that feels good. You can also keep them down to the sides and on the chair, but you'll just lift the hips. You don't have to come up a whole lot. I just kind of turn this way for you. So I'm here, and then you'll just lift up, and you can stay like this, and then you can just gently drop back down. You can try to lift up. Hover a little bit, gently. Try with control to come back down. Lift up. And then gently, you can come back down. So you can do that as many times as you like. No set number of times that you need to try that. So then what we'll do, we'll just start to kind of rest here. So you can do a bound angle pose here, just with some supports in your chair. So one bolster may be enough, or you may need a bolster and a rolled up blanket, but you can kind of scoot back in your chair. And then what you'll do is you'll just bring your feet, the soles of your feet together, and then your hips will just open up a little bit. And you can rest your hands wherever you like. So this should just, This should just be a nice little hip stretch and a little hip opener. You could also do this if you've got two chairs. What you would do is scoot the other chair up in front of your chair. The two seats would be touching. So like my seat, and then another seat would scoot up with the seat kind of flush with the edge of mine. And then you would put both of your legs, I don't have the core strength right now but you would lift them both up and let them lay out on that seat in front. So that's another nice way to do this if you've got more than one chair. And then while you're here, you can just relax and rest, or you can do just some nice little finger rolls with your hands. So you can look at your hands if you need to, and you can touch your index finger, your pointer finger, to your thumb, and then just with your breath, roll that index finger down to the base of the thumb, and then back up. And then your thumb is on the tip of your index finger, and you can roll your thumb down the base of that finger and back up. And then you can take the thumb to your middle finger, roll the thumb down the finger, back up. Then the thumb goes to your ring finger, down that finger, and back up. And then over to the pinky, and then down the pinky finger, and back up. And then you can do down the pinky again and back up. And then over to that ring finger and down and back up. You can just work your way back to starting. Moving as slowly or as quickly as you like. And you don't have to hold the hand up either to do that. You can certainly rest it. You can go to the left finger whenever you're ready. Maybe syncing these movements with your breath. Inhaling down the finger, exhaling back up. And then we'll get ready just to do one more thing before our final relaxation pose. So you can keep your feet here if you'd like, or with whatever amount of support you have, just putting the feet back down on the mat. And then we'll just do a little bit of breathing here, just maybe to help your breathing just be more easy and restful here. So you can either just take your thumb and your index finger, your pointer finger, and you'll occlude one side, occlude the other. You won't occlude them both at the same time. Or you can be fancy with it and do your thumb to one side. You can rest your pointer and your middle finger up on your space between your eyes, and then you would use your pinky and your ring finger. So what we'll do is you can occlude the right nair, your right nostril, and then you can inhale through your left. Then you'll occlude your left and exhale out your right. Then you'll inhale up the right nostril. Occlude the right nostril and exhale out the left. Inhale up the left. Occlude the left and exhale out the right. Inhale through the right. Occlude the right and exhale out the left. And you can continue to do that for as long as you like. If that makes you feel uncomfortable at any point, then don't do it. It's not worth it. But now what we're going to do is set up for Shavasana. If you can make it to the floor and you want to just lay out flat, then that's fine. You can also just stay here with your feet just nice and supported on something. It'll be nice here to sit back in your chair. And what you can do, you can take a blanket and make a blanket roll, and you can just put it back behind your spine, just to kind of rest on, and then another blanket up behind there. You can let your head rest back on that. I don't know if this will be okay or not. You could probably take, and it's going to fall back, so I think I'm too far away from the wall. But scooting closer to the wall might be helpful, or just, like I said, a blanket where you could just pop it across your shoulders and just rest there. Or you could even, the blanket roll that you've made, just maybe pull it up a little bit, and that'll give your head just something nice to relax and lean back on, or just to feel supported against if you like. So like I said, just finding some way here that you feel nice and supported, and so that you can relax and just be still. In yoga, we move our bodies mindfully, paying attention to our breath as we move. And this focus on the movement and the breath helps us to be able to be still so that we can watch our minds, observe our thoughts. We tend to get so attached to our thoughts and believe everything we think, that it's true, and let our minds lead us astray and down a path sometimes that just isn't necessary. And everybody does it. I do it. You do it. Everybody does it. But through yoga, we can actually give our mind the attention it needs to watch it and kind of keep it in check a little bit. You don't have to beat yourself up when you have a thought that, is harmful to you or harmful to others. But you just go, oh, okay, I thought that. And it's non-attachment, just not getting attached and not getting that response or that reaction to that thought. That's where the magic happens. So just sitting here in stillness and in silence, observing the mind. To stay here for as long as you like. But if you feel ready, you can gently wake your body back up, just allowing it to move however that movement feels natural and good to you. gently will bring the hands to heart center, eyes closed and the gaze down. I'm so grateful to be able to share this practice with each and every one of you. May you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you live with ease. Namaste.